I'm privileged to be in the position where I could just be like, all right, I'm going to spend $50 and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. And I know a lot of people are not in that position. But for me, it was like, if I can get a shortcut, I'm going to take it. Right. And so that was really cool. So I got that idea, I got to focus on the idea, the actual design of the game. And that's, again, going back to the intention of this is to become a better game designer, not a better programmer, right? So that was I really liked that game. Another one I really liked was, the one that blew up, that has like 500,000 views. That was really fun. That was an idea, again, I also had a lot of these ideas I'd had for years. Years. And like, if you keep this thing of, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it then, like I'm only on this planet for a few years. If a game takes 3 years to materialize, it might never happen. And that's also one of the things I learned, is that once that idea is, you spend a weekend, you put that idea together, it's so much easier to pick it up. You're like, oh, I knew that worked. That was fun, right? Oh, this, not so much. This I don't really think. And out of 12 ideas, I feel confident in, like, you'd say 1, not that one, 2, 3, no, it was July. Yeah, like at least half of them, I know I could take a little bit forward.
Okay, that's awesome.
And now that kind of idea is like really fun. And this is what I was telling you back a bit earlier, is that like with the game that has 500,000 views, that was once off. What would happen if I took that and just did more of it? Did more of it for another 6 months. Right? If it gets to a point where after 6 months, it's like repeatedly just people are like eating it up. It's a good enough metric. Now let's try put a public prototype. What are the numbers there, right? So, and a lot of other developers do this a lot, and I like to mimic them, like Free Lives or Landfall. They just kind of throw things into the ether. And I like to call it the game dev lottery, right? Because I've time and time again, I'll see a tweet. This person has a full-time job. They do several tweets. It's blowing up. It's continuously blowing up. A few months later, they're like, "Hey guys, I'm quitting my job and I'm gonna start working on this game." And I know some publisher has slid in their DMs and they're like, "So, we see you're working on this thing." I think I can point out 3 games last year that I saw. Where someone is working at Us Too, someone who was working at Ori and the Blind Forest, someone who was working on like this huge game in Sweden. They just post a few things, and then all of a sudden, like, "Hey guys, I'm starting a new studio." Like, and what's great about that is that they have an audience baked in. It's like it becomes less risky. And so that's kind of my whole hope. I'm playing the lottery. That's basically all I'm doing.
Okay. Speaking of audiences, how did your audience respond to the games, and were there any particular titles that stood out in terms of popularity? You've mentioned the 500K. And also positive feedback, the ones that also maybe I couldn't scroll through. Which stood out for you from
I think obviously the Bird Trigger one jumped out a lot. And I think it's weird to like measure a lot of the analytics or stuff, because of the ones that have the most views are the ones that were the earliest, so they've had more time. But also the funniest ones. I think the one I did in August, that one has consistently resonated, even on Twitter. Like the one where I used the scroll wheel to like push
Oh, that was so
scooter.
funny. Oh, I
Exactly.
love yeah,
That's
that was
that, and I think
hilarious.
that's the kind of stuff where I think that there's enough there for something. It could be like a casual mobile game, like those kind of things. It's like, because imagine like there was like a little, almost like a bit of a scroll wheel on your phone, and you just kind of like pushing the scooter along.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of interesting things to do there. So that one was really cool. And I think a lot of, because the things like always had like a sort of funniness to them. A lot of them seem to always get quite a bit of positive feedback.
Okay.
I also think, if I can toot my own horn a little bit, was I think that just the way I told the stories, right? It was not like, hey guys, I made a video game. It was, I think, just like always trying to put a narrative arc. In fact, writing those like 20 seconds or minute long things took a lot of time, because I'm always trying to see what's the hook, what's actually the story here, right? And a lot of my mechanics come out of what if you did this?
Okay.
Or I was sitting in the shop the other day and I was kind of bored and I saw this woman like stamping things. Like, what if that action has something to it, right? So like, I think that there's just always this stories, going back to the idea of like creating content, like what's the story here?
Okay.
And that's, I think, what's fascinating.
Awesome. Oh, you said that there's some 6 games that you want to develop further. Could you highlight some of them and why?
I mean, I don't know if I think there's a lot of them. I'd have to go through. I honestly, not a lot. Like, a lot of them I would develop further, but I don't know what context that would need to be. So I am not. I would say there is one that I am still working on, and that's the game I made in November.
Okay.
It doesn't have the most views, but the reason I'm working on that one is twofold. Is that it's like a networking game, and I just keep want to level up on making networking games. I'm working with a composer friend of mine to work on the audio for it. And then, so there's that. That's the only game I'm actively taking further. But with a lot of these ideas, I also don't want to get too carried away with them, because there is another game I want to make next year, or as the next game. I've toyed around with it several times, but all of these are more audience builders or community builders. Like, they just more like, these are really interesting, and in a certain world I would come back to them. But right now, not really, nothing planned.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's understandable. And after all, the audience is really what you need as a content creator to grow. So I think that's a great way to focus. Yeah. I think we've covered most of what I had in mind. Yeah, unless now if you a parting shot from you, some encouraging words you'd give anyone that's just coming up, or even veterans, because you challenge yourself in a very unique way, and it has sparked so many amazing ideas. Just some parting shot to inspire someone who might be needing and need some inspiration.
Do the work. Just do the work.
Okay.
I think. Try new things. Just keep trying new things and throwing them out. Make things and share things. Right? So always enjoy, make something and share it with people. It might not be with the internet if you're too scared, but share it with your close friends. Get feedback. Because there are many times, what I think was really nice about this whole series, that 99% of people, they're just rooting for you. Well, that's what I thought, and I feel that you did something.
Yeah.
You've got something really good, and you put it out. Like I just respect anyone who's out there putting things out, because you do that enough times, you're gonna win the lottery. So I think it's just share your work. Okay. Share your work.
Okay.
And just learn from that. And don't be too precious. I said a lot of things here. Share your work. If there's only one word, is share your work.
Okay. All right, awesome. This has been so amazing.
Thank you, Wendi.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. I love your energy, and and it's working on TikTok. Keep on being funny and hilarious, and just bringing out your passion to the world, because I know it's gonna work out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.